your host, Charisse Beckett, and
I am your host, Mark Thompson.
how are you?
If you focus on what you did in the past,
To lead, transform, and shine.
this is a great collaboration. Career Transformation Academy and Queens behind the scenes. Mark Thompson, Charisse Beckett, about to tear it up.
Welcome back to Corporately Speaking. I'm your host, Charisse Beckett.
And I am Mark Thompson, the co-host.
Yay. Last episode, we talked about exit strategies, leverage, and why promotions alone aren't enough anymore.
And we keep hearing, and what we keep hearing was we didn't even realize I was still in survival mode. So that hit because before strategy comes identity. So this week's episode, very important to understand. We're going from survival. I can't even speak right now.
Yeah, what's going on?
I need to get some of my Le Bleu from North Carolina. It's French. But anyway, this week's episode is about from survival to strategy. And this is the evolution of Black professional identity.
Yes, this season is called Future Focus, or this sessions, these modules we have are future focused and not just reactive for a reason, because something has shifted in the air, right? The economy has shifted, as I said before. Corporate loyalty has shifted. Job security has shifted.
And the data backs up what people already feel. I mean, senior roles are less stable, executive teams are shorter, and layoffs are happening based on math and not merit. So it doesn't even matter what you do.
Yeah, the promise changed. Nobody announced it, but everybody feels the promise has changed. Most Black professionals didn't start their careers thinking about strategy. I know I didn't. I don't know, Mark. I'm sure you didn't either. Like, we started thinking about survival. How am I going to survive in this container, right?
Right. And then survival is just, survival financially, survival reputationally, survival emotionally. Those things are not at the forefront when you get through and really you're trying to build some type of strategy and plan. So in this episode, I think this is what we're going to really focus on is just that shift from survival to strategy, which it should be in the forefront of your mind in corporate America. You have to have that type of mindset.
Yeah. Survival teaches you to keep your head down, to be grateful. Oh my gosh, that whole be grateful mess. Like, that is a thing of the past. My parents are like, especially like my mom, especially my grandfather, this whole like be grateful. I mean, you have a job, just be grateful you have a job. I am thankful and I'm grateful to God I have a job. I am not grateful to nobody in that company that I got a job. Like, I'm not grateful for that. It's a transaction. I give you some work, you give me some money. It's like the don't be too much. You're grateful you have a job. Don't rock the boat. Know all of the things.
Right. I think when you say that, you just sparked like how my parents think and grandmas think. Oh, you got that good job. Stay on there and get your pension. I'm like, they don't even
have
give
no
pensions anymore.
No more. Yeah, I was like, so whenever I hear that, I'm like, so you're clearly just speaking from an outdated perspective, because that's not even an offering that people have.
Right. It's crazy how things have just shifted. I mean, we think about strategy. Strategy just asks different questions. Is this aligned? What does this role actually give me? And then what am I building beyond this job? That's important. Even when I'm coaching people, and I even coach my employees in the job, I tell them, survival gets you through the door, but strategy, it decides the terms. And if you don't have that built in to your mindset, then you're just going to be looking at you're going to let the world dictate your life and not you dictate your life.
And that's right. Yeah, because like survival gets you through the door, but strategy decides the terms of it. Survival wasn't a mindset we chose, right? It was a response to the very conditions that we endure.
Right. And many of us were at first, but the only one or very few
in the room.
Right.
Like, yeah. So,
Right.
And anytime, I think Michelle Obama said it in her book, it's like anytime you hear first and Black in a sentence, is you already know there is a standard
Right.
in which is expected, right? Or behavior, right?
And this is something that I think that we, if you've gone to a PWI, you went to a PWI, it
Yeah.
almost prepared you for corporate America.
Oh,
And this is
totally.
again, let me put it out, my opinion,
Yeah.
because when you were and for folks who haven't, gone to a PWI and don't understand that,
I've been to
when
both. I did both, so I get it.
think about it, every classroom you go to, you're the only one in the room, the
Yeah,
only person or
and, like
two.
and I love HBCU, but, like and it's like when I talk to some of my friends who went to strictly HBCUs who didn't grow up like, I grew up around a lot of white people, so but, like,
Mm-hmm.
when you go to I know going to an HBCU, I remember being on the yard, and there was just like, during the daytime, it was some white
Mm,
people on the yard, but in the nighttime, it was
right.
not no white people on the yard, okay?
Right.
There were not any white people on the yard, but what that does is it builds you like an echo chamber of people that are
Mm-hmm.
like you. And so I've had friends who struggle coming and stay like, what in the hell? Because
Right.
this is not the type of thing that I'm used to. But I want to throw some statistics out here. Black professionals only make up roughly 12 to 13% of the workforce. But when
Mm.
you look at senior leadership and executive roles, the numbers drop even lower, often drops below the 7% mark.
Right. And that's even lower for Black women.
Oh,
So
yeah. I
compared to
mean,
Black
yeah.
men and Black women, oh, it's even lower than that. So that just means the margins for error was thin. And so what do? We adapt. We have
Yes.
to.
We
And
have to. Yes.
yeah.
We have to.
So survival wasn't weakness, it's just adaptation. And this is what we have generational after generation have learned to do over the years.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So how does survival show up at work? And, how does that show up at work?
Yeah, it just and across different industries, Black professionals receive primarily less sponsorship, and that is a tough thing because I think a lot of people don't even know what sponsorship is, especially us. We don't know, but you think about that, we get more scrutiny. Lord Jesus, we get more.
Scrutiny.
Look at me, I'm tapping into all my jobs, and then more feedback and tone and style than substance. And I think what I really when I capitalize on just thinking about this, what it resonates to me is just connection. So you can be smart, but you're also Black, but I've never experienced you and I don't know how to handle
I don't
you.
know how to
So
handle you.
I'm
I don't
going,
know how to come
yeah,
again.
right. So I'm going to do what I think I believe you need versus asking you. And therefore now you're still stuck in a survival mentality because this person has you on pins and needles. You don't know what they're about to say. You don't know if it's offensive. You don't know if they're helping you. And
Yes.
they're always micromanaging you because I don't know you as a person or even as a culture.
I'm pulling this up because you said something about sponsorship. And so
Hmm.
there is for Black professionals, and Dr. Keisha Thomas in 2013 has coined this theory called pet to threat. And when we talk about
Hmm.
sponsorship, we get a lot less sponsorship, but people are eager to mentor you at a lower level. But when you
Mm,
become when you go from that pet to the threat, the sponsorship opportunities very much dissipate.
right. Right.
They do. They dissipate because you've gone from pet to threat. I recommend folks reading about pet to threat for Dr. Keisha Thomas. I think
Yes.
it's so real and it resonates with so many Black people. We're often promoted for performance, but then given political but not given the political capital that protects you at the higher level. So you get your
Mhm.
promotion for your performance, but rarely are you at the table. And sometimes I'm like, I'm building my own table. Damn these
Right.
tables,
Right.
like these theoretical tables.
Right.
Well, because I've seen people sit in these tables. What did Barack Obama say? What did Michelle Obama say? It's a scam. It is a darn scam
Mhm.
because they want you to think that these are tables where they're talking about this revolutionary, innovative thing.
Right.
And I think they think that the shit they talking about really is innovative. But I really do. But the bottom line is that it's a scam. So what? I'm going after big sis Michelle Obama. What she said? She said, "You prove to me I don't belong. So I am going in these rooms and I am going to run it because you are not
Exactly.
going to tell me I do not belong. It's a complete and total scam." But this is what another thing I was,
No. Good,
I'm
good.
reading
This is
all the
good.
time. I'm reading all the time. I'm always reading about leadership and all. I
Mhm.
wrote a book about it. It's a large portion of the research work that I do. Thank you, sir. It's always a part of the research work that I do. And I, doing the research around like these tables and the scam and like listening to my Forever FLOTUS and Forever
Mm-hmm.
POTUS talk about these things. What I was thinking about is what happens in the grand scheme of things when you think about it
Mm-hmm.
from a child to an adult. If people make something feel special or
Mm-hmm.
elevated, people clamor to be in it. So there's an example I'm gonna give you. Okay, this is like the stupidest ass example. I promise, is so dumb, but it's something that has happened. I worked in a
Mm-hmm.
place. They only gave certain people access to send emails to the staff. Right? They only gave certain people. Now that email sending has become something people really actually like. I don't even want to
Right.
send a damn email, but that has become like a
Right.
privilege. Sending an email is a privilege. Like, so whatever. So when you take that out, you have to make things important on your own. What's
Right.
important to you on your own? Because in the grand scheme of things, if it wasn't in an organization and it wasn't this thing, if somebody said, yeah, you can send an email to the staff, I'd be like, I don't want to do that. That ain't
You're
not, I mean,
right.
but when you make it exclusive, people
Mm-hmm.
want it, right? So
Right.
that's what I'm saying. So these rooms, these rooms and these places, people have made them seem so exclusive. Even if the people in the damn room is dumb as a box of rocks,
Right.
they have made it exclusive, so people clamor to get in it. Then you get in and you're like, oh well, they're idiots.
Well, it
I
sounds like
mean,
it's like skipping the line at the club and paying an extra $50 just to see the same BS that everybody else sees. Like,
that's what I'm saying. So because when you make it
mm-hmm.
sound so, and I think I believe that in corporate America, that is what has happened in so many ways. When
Yep.
you start to make this exclusivity around a level or an activity or a room or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, you start to and what happens is somebody else has created the narrative that it's exclusive,
Right.
right? So
Right.
you have to remember what is important to you. It
Yep.
doesn't matter what they think is exclusive. I don't want to be there. If
Right.
it doesn't serve what I want, and trust me, it needs to serve something, right? And if it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't serve where I'm headed or my agenda or even the work that I'm doing, I don't care how exclusive you try to make the story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not buying it. And we have to stop buying it. That's the thing, is you have to stop
Right.
buying the exclusivity hook. It is an exclusivity hook that we buy. And it doesn't always mirror what serves us. So why don't we chase what serves us instead of a narrative about exclusivity that somebody came up with that maybe not even mean anything to you, but you think it puts you in proximity to power at these tables. If it's not important to you, who cares? Why don't you start to, my opinion, why don't I look down on the exclusivity? I'll be like, I don't want that. I mean, listen, I will make your exclusive activity seem like you're playing on the monkey bars. Don't play with me. I won't do this. You should have
Question.
lunch with so and so. What's up?
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, is that a group of people? Is that a group of leaders making that product as exclusivity, or is it one person or somebody? Because I think why I'm asking that, because I've seen where certain leaders create it and then they let it spread like cancer to create the exclusivity, or a group of leaders came up with an idea and then they dropped it down to what exclusivity looks like. So I think it could be both.
I think it
But
could be both. I think it could be both. I think that's the thing, is I think it can be both. I think that it starts somewhere. I mean, it starts somewhere. Sometimes the people who it could be either, but I think sometimes the people who hold power create narratives around exclusivity. It makes them feel important and it makes them feel like people want what they have.
Right.
But what you can do as a person is not feed into it. I don't give a damn what you think is exclusive because it doesn't serve me. So it could be exclusive for. Stop buying into this exclusivity. It's just BS.
Right. Right. Because you're going to put yourself more into more survival mode because of it.
And that's the thing. So, and I think I beat the horse to death on
Hey,
that.
it's passion. That's what we talk about. I said we are real human beings that deal with the same stuff, so it makes sense. Well, everything that we get passionate about, we both go off of like, hey, guess what?
Because it's so true. Does that not make sense though around that
It does.
exclusivity crap? Because people
It
do
does.
that. They'll act like you are getting ready to see Beyonce. Because that would be of
Right.
value to me. Okay, so if you was saying, you know what, Charisse, if this is what's exclusive here, you get a VIP with Beyonce. Now I might have to lean on in.
Right.
But if you're telling me the exclusivity is sending an email to these people, if you don't kick absolute rocks, like
Yeah.
out of my
I'm
face
not
with this foolery.
working late hours to be able to get access to send emails. Now, that's what you got a communication staff for. But why are you telling me to do it?
Right. It's just, I mean, I know it's an example, but like I said, it's a small example of what permeates through organizations is creating exclusivity around activities, around positions, around these tables. If you don't buy into the exclusivity, it loses its novelty.
Right. And see, this may be, again, I know we didn't went off, but I
We
think
have
it is
gone off on a little tangent. But.
it's the rigidity of a leadership versus the flexibility because of the way we are in this society. Remember back in the day when a leader used to be like, we're doing this and we're doing this. You go outside of that, something's wrong with you. Now it's like, well, just figure it out, and everybody's figuring it out, making up rules and making up what my old coach used to call locker room lawyers. And then you get these clicks.
Lawyers.
Yeah, you create clicks, and this click over here and that click over here, and then they actually create the exclusivity. And then we actually rub elbows with this leader who gave us this access. But if you want that, you gotta. So now you've created all this separation in the company and the organization, and you're actually fighting more than just fighting up the corporate ladder for what the world you can do. You're fighting corporate politics. We talked about that last year, and we're fighting that in multiple cycles of different leaders, and you never get an opportunity to move the way up.
That's it. That is it. I think we're in validation. We're down to validation. Oh, I know. Okay, so what survival mode looks like? Okay, let's roll on down here. It looks like over preparing for meetings you already run. Saying yes when your spirit is tired and you know you want to say no. Staying because at least it's stable. My mom again, don't look a gift horse in the mom. This is a job and they paying me. I mean, come on.
Don't lose that good paying job. That's good money you make. but it also looks like, being praised for resilience instead of supported. Being indispensable at, but still expendable, like email on the weekend, close your computer and don't answer till Monday. I had to actually have a conversation with one of my leaders and said, hey, you can't send me something on Saturday to have it to you by Monday. It's not my job.
Because I'm off.
Right.
I'm off. I'm not doing that. Like there's other, like me, I'm getting ready to go down here and make this delicious soup and my gooey cake. So yeah, that's not gonna work. Well, yeah, if this is all landing with you, you're not broken. You're just evolving, just like us. You're just evolving.
Right. So, I mean, here, this is State of the Union. Why survival is expiring. Let's just make this clear. Here's the bigger picture. Senior leadership is more unstable than it's been in for years. So we've talked about this a lot. And a lot of the things that I'm going back to just kind of understand for everybody. We talk about all types of roles. We feel like anybody right now can be in leadership. These are our criteria to where we are in our spaces. We're in leadership roles, but you can get there as well, no matter where you are. So if you think about that, people, this affects not only senior leaders, it affects everybody at every stage, but people aren't retiring from these roles. They're just rotating out of them. And that's happening a lot. If you've noticed, like you said, we talked about this before, grandma and them said, stay stable. You stayed on the job 20 years, you get a pension. Now people are leaving every 2 years.
Ain't no pension. Why am I staying here? And also people are learning. That's the other thing, Mark, is that I don't think that folks are understanding. People aren't staying in roles as long anymore. And I'm going to find a data point on that as well. But people aren't staying in jobs as long anymore. Number one, they're outgrowing the container. They're outgrowing it because they're able to learn. We have so many tools available to us now that we are able to learn at a more rapid rate than we ever have before. So why would I stay somewhere when I have learned everything? And I'm a lifetime learner. So like if I've learned everything I need to learn and y'all ain't throwing nothing else at me, again, the steady Eddie might be
Period.
okay with that. I'm not going to be okay with that. Also, layoffs are no longer about performance. They're about cost reduction, restructuring, market shifts, because that is all happening. I have got to find this data point around I just said I was finding the data point around layoffs and around because I wanted to
Oh,
add
the
to
2
that.
years, staying, yeah.
Staying in the job. Why are people not staying in jobs longer? And I knew I had a data point around that I had pulled. Let's see, data point around staying in jobs
While you're
long.
looking at that, I'm gonna tell you that is common with other races besides black races. Like
Yeah.
we've just done that. And when I say that they've understood the game so much that they get into the corporate space and they're navigating in a different game. We're not even playing the same game. So people who know they're leaving in 2 years, they're trying to make an impact, collect data, collect stats,
Yep.
put information on the board. So then when they go to the next job, I executed this, I delivered this, I performed this, I decreased the money or saved the company 10% on this. And guess what? You did that in 2 years? Wow, let me hire you.
Yep.
It makes sense. It's a different
It
game.
does. It's a different. So the median U.S. employee tenure was 3.9 years as of January 2024, with men
Wow.
averaging 4.2 years and women averaging 3.6. While younger workers change jobs faster, between 25 and 34 average 2.7 years. I believe that. Older workers, 55 to 64, stay significantly longer with a median tenure about 9.6 years. So also job hugging is a trend. Recent data indicates a rise in job hugging where employees stay in roles longer due to economic uncertainty. They've just named that.
Yeah.
They've done named that a name, but really it's just, listen, I got to stay in this job before the market pop out open
Yep.
again. I mean,
Yep.
I cannot, nobody's leaving jobs when there are no jobs, right? But they're staying
Right.
in, they're hugging these jobs. Also industry variations, because in management, the average is 6.9 years. In education, it's 6.2 years. In sales, it's 3.4 years. And in tech, it's 2.7 years. Also, while offering stability, staying over 7 years can sometimes reduce skill transferability to other industries. I say this all the time. A lot of organizations, they praise tenure as like, oh, we're doing a good job here. And I frame it very differently. I frame it as people have gotten too comfortable. You're not being as innovative as you need to be. And I believe that people are getting too comfortable. They're also blockers to other people that are probably more innovative, and they have lost the luster. They've lost the luster for the job. They're going and doing the job. Yeah, you're working hard, but those same people, if they went somewhere else, probably would not hold the jobs that they have, because they have not been able, they are not exposed. They don't know, they're not current in their skills. So there are so many, I just wanted to add that in there because I knew that was a super important thing. But yeah, so layoffs are no longer about performance, and they're more about cost reduction, restructuring, and market shifts. Mark, I think titles are obviously getting bigger.
Yeah, I mean, before I even talk about that, you said something key. I like writing stuff down. Exposure. I think when we talk about survival, if you don't work for, even from our last episode and thinking about this episode, so we were talking about exposure, and I was thinking about exposure in the survival mindset of anybody as an individual. You can get exposed, like you said, by staying in a job too long, and that's happened a lot because I think that's a part of the fear of people going to the next job, is because they're so comfortable doing this job so long that they go somewhere else. Somebody's going to notice their incompetence on
Oh, for
actually what
sure.
the job is.
Oh, for sure.
And that's how you, that FOMO, I mean, not FOMO, but that imposter syndrome
Imposter syndrome.
comes
Yeah.
out.
Yep.
And
yep,
it's
yep.
like, because I mean, we all face it because you
Yeah.
want more, but you got to do your homework, your research, and talk to the
Yeah.
right people. And this is where
Yeah.
that external connection helps you
Yeah.
have more confidence about going to another role. And that's a lot of reason why people are still stuck at a job trying to survive. We talk about this going into, titles are getting bigger, but authority and protection are not. And this is what we look at: getting a certain title, a senior title without power is just branding. You have to build your power within the title that you're possessing.
And externally, Mark, that's the other thing, is like you build your power. So one of my bigger things was, and this is just me as a person, as an executive, building power internally meant something to me, but building thought leadership and power externally meant more. So when I wrote my book, when I'm doing all the things I'm doing outside of my role, that is a big focus for me because
Every time you say your book, I'ma just
get poised, baby. But no, like that's what, but that's the thing is like your power should not always be attached to that company either. Like, because to be quite honest, out externally and your thought leadership externally is really more wealth than in the job to me. That was for me very important. And it is because I take my job seriously and everything, but
right.
my thought leadership is external. A lot of it's external to my work because some of that thought leadership is not in my job description. So,
Right.
right. So build your power external from your job, and then you won't ever feel powerless in it.
Right, right. And for those who don't think they have the power, do some really deep internal thinking, some introspection on what you've done. And I say that because I was in corporate working hard for about 14 years and noticed that there was a shift in my leadership skills based on how I used to coach Little League football. Little League football taught me more about how to
Oh my God! Yeah.
manage
Oh yes.
than it did at corporate America. And that
Yes.
elevated my managerial skills because not only did I have to coach kids, I had to coach other coaches and I had to coach parents. And you have to manage 40 people at one time.
Yep. And
On
some of them are
expectations,
telling you
vision.
they got to go to the bathroom while you trying to tell them a play.
Right. So imagine that. That's emotions. That is
Yeah.
just, physical ability, temperament. I mean, mindset. Like you really have to pour into folks. When I recognized that, I said, these kids, even parents, are just like my employees at work. Everybody's different, but I had to actually learn how to be flexible in that. Again, for me as a leader doing that, so I didn't have to go to survival mode. That elevated me to actually help people be better. Again, I'm always going to go back to leadership, pointing to people to be better employees. You have a bad leader, then survival mode is actually even increased.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's my quote.
Oh yeah, that's your quote. I agree. I agree.
Right. So I think that's a good segue.
It is. The cost of staying in survival. Yeah,
Right.
it is. So survival works early. It doesn't work forever. So like when you first enter jobs, I remember going into my first job and like being like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I was in survival mode. Right. It doesn't work forever.
Right. And at senior levels, survival starts costing you. Costs your health, it costs your clarity and your sense of self. That's we've been there.
We've been there, and burnout isn't a personal failure, but it's often the signal that survival has expired, right? Survival has expired. So let's go into survival identity versus strategic identity because I think that's really important. So survival identity is focused on proving your worth, avoiding mistakes. When you first enter a job, when you're a young professional,
Right.
I don't ever call people junior employees. I call them young professionals. Proving your worth is like, okay, I got to prove why I belong here. I got to prove this job. You avoid a lot of mistakes, which, I believe mistakes are a part of the scientific method. Failure is a part of it. You have to do it. But you try to avoid those mistakes. You just focus on keeping your job, right? Mark, what's strategic identity?
Strategic identity. Wow. I mean, I'm about to pray a word right here. Everybody get your hands on you. Bring your Bibles out and turn it to the book of Mark.
Turn it to the book of Mark.
Book of Mark. So when you really think about strategic identity, we're talking about positioning. We're talking about optionality, and we're talking about long-term impact. Those three to me really speak to not only the workplace, but to your external place, but also to your internal being as a human being on this earth. So if you even think about all of that, obviously your higher power puts you in position, but you also have the power to put yourself in the right position as well. We're not talking about we're not talking about a job title. We're talking about your mindset. We're talking about your positioning as far as where you want to be, how you want to be, and how you carry yourself, what you eat every day. We talk about your health, how you take care of your mental health, yoga, whatever it is. All of that puts you in the right space to be prepared for the next level. And you get out of survival when you have a stronger mind, I think. And that
Yeah.
helps you out with long-term impact because now you're ready for whatever you want to do in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then moving, so survival generally asks you, how do I not lose all of this? And I think we've all been
Mm-hmm.
there before. I mean, I was a widow before. And so my job, I was in survival to not lose my job to I could because of my kids, but
Right.
strategy asks you, like, what am I
What?
building? What am I
Mm-hmm.
building?
Right. Right. So
So what
what
happens when yep, there you go.
Go ahead. Like what happens when strategy
I was gonna help you. I was gonna tee it off to you.
Hey, I was gonna catch it. So what changes when strategy enters the room? So again, I love this because I think this is important for everybody to hear what we're saying. So you stop asking, "Do they like me?" I think validation is what a lot of people seek, and I talked to one of my good buddies about validation. It could have stemmed from your childhood upbringing where you had to validate, or you're looking for somebody to show you that. And I was definitely a proponent of that in my career where I was
Oh
doing
yeah.
good because my manager, I needed him to
Somebody's
tell
gonna
me
say
I'm doing
I'm
great.
doing a great job.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
Right, right. And that thrive. And I was like, oh man, I'm like a little puppy or a little kid, you know? So the other piece here is just, and start asking, is this mutually beneficial? That's that you don't want to just do stuff to do stuff because that's what you'll do when you're trying to get validation. You have to have some beneficial stuff that's important to your job. That right there is going to be a huge key to success. You look at everything that you're doing, it's like, this was just busy work.
Yeah, because mutually and also mutually beneficial means it's beneficial for me and it's beneficial for you. Like, what am I
Right,
doing and what am I building that's beneficial? I know you move differently. You protect your
right.
reputation. One of those things I'm always like, don't be videotaping me at like You
Hmm.
like you protect your reputation. You build visibility beyond your employer. Like what I was saying,
Right,
you build that visibility beyond your employer. You stop tying your identity to one role. So many
right,
people, their identity is what do you do? Is your job.
right,
Build something outside of that work because you can. And everything that you put in it shows that you can build something outside of the work. Strategy doesn't have to be rushed. It's plans. Make the
right.
plans.
Make the plan.
Make the
That's what all
plans.
the black women be saying. I want somebody to make some
Make some
plans. Well, you
plans.
do it for yourself first.
You
I'm gonna
said
get
do
in
it for
trouble
yourself.
on here.
Yeah, you got to have me. They about to be getting at me.
Uh, yeah, just come to me. You can put
So
the
just come to
comments below.
me.
Anyway, so it's important safety reframe for the employee. This is for everybody. Understand that strategy does not mean rebellion. Oh man, it's easy to be petty because I love being nice petty. I'm the most nicest petty person setting up alley oops for somebody to come in, whatever. But it does mean that loud exists. I'm sorry, it does not mean loud exits or scorch the earth. Got to keep your bridges open because you never know what the opportunities could be, within certain roles. So I don't want to stomp out, but I will if it really was bad. I think I have the strategy for that.
Okay. All right. It means clarity. It means boundaries and not
Mm-hmm.
confusing endurance with success. Strategy is quiet confidence.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like to hear quiet confidence because people are always trying to read you at work.
Yes. I have learned, I've got a little tip about that because I have learned to really let the dead space just sit there when somebody says
Mm-hmm.
something. When somebody tries to don't get cute because
Right.
and they love to get cute. One of my biggest things is just to be like, now what was the point in that? And just letting
Right.
it sit there. Or who did that benefit? It's always going to be a
Right.
question. I love to lead with inquiry. Now, who was that going to benefit?
Yeah.
What
This
what did you mean by that? Because I do love people to don't care. What does that mean?
there is a few folks that I follow and we all laugh about it because I post a lot of the people who are doing content about the workplace strategy. And there's one guy who said exactly that. He said when somebody says something that may be off put or maybe directed towards you, he said be quiet and stare at them and drop your pen. and lean back. And
It
it will
is.
be awkward.
It will be. I've been practicing it lately. It is the most awkward yet satisfying thing I have been doing
Yes.
because it is so awkward and so satisfying because the person don't know what to do. They don't know
Right.
how to react when you're just like,
Right.
because what exactly are you saying? But anyways, we're moving from future focused clothes, we're future focused and identity as power. Black
Right.
professionals' identity is evolving. I mean, we have consistently been evolving as a race. We're going from gratitude to grounding. You know, we're going from
Right.
that generation that said you should be grateful to have a job to the generation like Mark and myself, who's like, you should be grateful to have me.
Right.
We're going from survivor to authorship.
Right. You did it. I didn't say poise.
To authorship.
Hey, so one thing I say this to everybody, you don't owe anyone lifelong endurance. You owe yourself intentionality. You owe yourself all the grace and things that you need. So survival got us here. Strategy takes us forward. And I almost want to say that it is survival at the beginning based on your mindset as a young person getting into the corporate space. And I say that because the corporate world seems bright, bushy-tailed. You celebrate it because you tell, Mom, I got a job and all that stuff. So you are surviving to figure it out. Once you get older and you start recognizing you have skill and skin in the game and expertise, that's when strategy is like,
you become dangerous. You become dangerous.
Yes. Strategy takes you forward. And you have to recognize that. I think there's an epiphany in your life and a moment in your job. You go, wait a minute. I'm that guy. I'm that girl. I'm that woman. I can do all things.
And
that I
trust
wanna
me,
do.
it's going to be somebody to try to jump up to knock you down, but you have
Yep.
to ignore these people.
Right. You have to. You have to.
ignore 'em.
So
Well, if this episode resonated, share it with someone who's outgrown survival but hasn't named it yet. Stay with us as we continue our future focus, not just reactive, our whole series. Mark, take us home. Tell them how to keep involved.
yes. Again, everything is going to be in the description as well because I will mess things up. But yes, follow us, Corporately Dash Speaking on YouTube. We're Dash Corporately Speaking on Instagram. You can follow Queens Behind the Scenes. No, it is Charisse.Beckett on Instagram. Career Transformation Academy. We all have all these different things that feed into Corporately Speaking. I'm on TikTok at The Blueprint by CTA. You're on TikTok, I believe, as well. TikTok is fun.
I think
we
it's
gotta
fun.
figure that out.
Yeah, I think it's fun, but it's not serving it's not, it has to serve another purpose other than what
Yes.
I thought it was going to serve. So I'm still kind of breaking that down. I don't have very many followers on there.
Yeah.
And it's not where I've been really focusing. I've been focusing a lot on YouTube and Instagram. Just because we have long form content and short form
Yeah.
content. So I'm just trying to figure that out. And listen, I love to be transparent about the fact that I'm not one of those people with 1 million followers. Now, do I have the blueprint to
Right.
some of the things that these people that will help you? Yes.
Right.
And we want to get there, but we're still building our audience. We're authentic people
Yeah.
and we're still building our brand, and we evolve and we shift and we restarted because we've rebranded and
Right.
reorganized our efforts. And I think that this time that we do this, we are more consistent. We've come up with kind of a framework that works best for both of us. And we play off of each other's personalities really well. And so we
Right.
figured out a way to do that better. So everything is just new and improved, corporately speaking, with Charisse and Mark, who are bringing their expertise from several different platforms.
You're right about that. So, folks, like, share, subscribe, send this to somebody who needs this. This information is going to get better, but it's valuable to not only you, for Black people, for everybody who's in the corporate space. Please check it out. We're on LinkedIn as well, too. So I drop everything on there. But again, follow us. Look at all the links that we have. Continue to share and get ready for the next episodes because we're getting deeper and deeper into the corporate game. With that being said,
Bye.